Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Reseller's Journey. Here is your host, ebayjoey.
We are back. Welcome to a Reseller's Journey Season 3. Got a special guest, also a good friend of me and the show. It's been a while since we've been trying to get him on, trying to book this interview with his agents. We've been going back and forth, but this dude is all about positivity. He's all about chasing that bolo. He's all about that grind. Today we got resell underscore and what's going on?
Not much, not much. How you doing, eBay Joey? Man, I like that intro, man. I like that. It
Eh,
was nice. It was
Hey, that's from the
nice.
heart. That's from the heart right there, man. I didn't even write that up.
Exactly.
You know,
Man.
That's one thing that I like about you, man. When I first met you, not even you personally, but when I was started following you on Instagram, I was like, this dude every day, what's up, people? What's going on? Have a glorious day. I'm like, damn, what is this guy up to? What is he selling?
But I mean, that's the whole thing about in life, man. I mean, you always
Yeah.
want to be positive. You always want to have that good vibe out there. So if I got the vibe, I want to spread the vibe to everybody. I mean, regardless of what you're doing in life, because I've been at the bottom. I know other
Yeah.
people have. So just spread the vibe, man.
Yeah, so have you been like that your whole life where it's just like this sense of positivity and encouragement? Have you been like that since day one, or was that kind of like something
No,
that you just developed?
that was kind of more of with the car industry. I kind of just started more into that when I was in the car industry for 10 years.
Yeah.
Whenever you have that morning meeting with your staff, it's always you want to send that positive vibes all the time.
Mm,
And then of course you're reading all the books, the motivational books. You're watching
mm,
like individuals like Grant Cardone, where it's always positive and going
mm.
after it. And so that's just, I mean, it just stuck with me, and just reading the
Yeah.
Bible and things like that just helped out.
Yeah, man. It's same thing with me. I've read the Bible as well, and I've been part of the whole, um, you know, religious experience. And
Yeah.
one thing that just I really they complement each other. It's a personal
Hmm.
preference, but I do like the positivity, man. Like there's just so much bad going on in the world, and just
Exactly.
a lot of just I don't know, just bad things, man. But to see someone like you every day, bro. Like no matter the season, no matter the time, it's just like, hey man, let's go out there and make that money.
All the time, man. Go out there and hustle, man. Because if a crackhead can go out there and out hustle you, man, I don't know what's wrong with you, brother. I don't know what's wrong. That's the way it is, man. I'm gonna out hustle that crackhead out there, man, but with a smile
Yeah.
on my face.
Yeah. You know what? For me, when I was in the sales industry, I was a salesman. I always had that feeling like there's someone out there trying to eat your lunch. And it kind of stuck with
Hmm.
me in the reselling game too, because you might not, I don't have as much talent as someone else does that's been in the game
Hmm.
for a while. But if I can outwork them, Anthony, and out hustle them, like it's going to pay off, man.
Oh, exactly, exactly. I mean, that's what I told my guys when I was at the car dealerships too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you have to work harder than the individual there, the individual at the other side, the individual at the other dealership. You work harder because it's your money. It's it's your little ones there that you have to help out. It's the meals that you have to take. No one's going to pay your bills. No one's going to scratch your back. No one's going to
Right.
help you out. Mom and dad may be there once in a while, but not all the time.
Right.
Your wife isn't going to always be there to help you. It's like, so you got to, bust and grind out there every day. I mean, this is the only life you have.
Yeah, why do you think like especially with the up and coming resellers, this is my second year and I always joke around and say I'm part of this, class of resellers like if it's the NBA draft. But why is it that some people they're all excited and they're all about it and they just fizzle out? Like what do you think is happening there?
Well, it all starts when everyone sees these Instagram shows or the
Mm,
YouTube videos of all the hype, of all the money that everyone's
right.
making. They're not showing the grind. They're not showing the hustle. Not showing, that time that you sit at home as a man, I haven't got a deal yet. Or I went to
Yeah.
10 Walmarts and I didn't find one bolo yet, because the other competition got it. So it's just that they got very motivated. They were hyped up on it, but they just lost love. There was no passion. And I mean, that's the whole thing. You have to have the passion in this, man. If you don't have it, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think I think, you know, a lot of people that I interview, it's always like, what hooked you? And it's unfortunate at times that it's almost deceiving, right? Where you went out your first store and boom, you hit the jackpot and you hit the home run. But
Correct.
man, how
Right.
many stores do you go to, whether it's the retail side, you know, and it's just
Well,
like you can't find anything.
yeah, true. Well, I mean, it happens to me a lot. I mean, there's times where I'll get up early in the morning and I'll make sure that I'm home before my wife gets home, just so that
Mm,
we can hang out. And I may not find anything, and it's just a frustrating day. But it's like, you know what? As long as I have my wife there, as long as I have my
yeah.
kids, man, I'm happy. That's the biggest thing, man. I'll keep on going.
Yeah.
So, but it's a hustle.
Yeah. And how long you been doing this hustle, Anthony?
Let's see here, for reselling, I've been on and off for over 10 years. I mean,
Wow.
I was doing it with on eBay. I was doing, not the good stuff on eBay. Let's just say, I was kind of, when they say the scammers out there, I didn't know much about it,
Yeah.
man. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get paid. I'm gonna make my money, and that's it. And then finally, when I got into the dealership wise, I was okay with everything. I made enough money. Um, and then now, once I moved out here to Las Vegas, it's because of my background. I needed to work. I needed to
Yeah.
grind out there and hustle. So for now, with being here in Vegas, it's probably been about 3.5 years now. Just a hundred
So
percent resale
okay, and so where did you originally grow up before you came to Vegas? Like where were you at located?
in in Texas, in San
Okay.
Antonio, Texas. Yeah,
Okay.
the home of the
So
Spurs, man.
I was gonna wear my Clipper hat. You know, you're talking about basketball, but man, I gotta pay homage to the Dodgers since,
Oh, of
you know,
course, man. Of course, man. You got to, man. And I hope they win it this year, man.
I hope so too, man. It's a big drought. But yeah,
Hmm.
let's root for the Dodgers and everybody that has Dodger gear. I hope you sell it because this is the
Exactly.
perfect
Yep.
time. But you know, one thing that I was talking to, I do talk to you on the phone, and you know, I reached out a couple of times, and you helped me a lot with some things that we'll talk about in the podcast, especially with the card game. Um, it's like what you talk about your background, right? You went into the dealership, and then Las Vegas, you know, things happen in Las Vegas, and then you had to commit to reselling. What really took place that led you to reselling full time?
What took, I mean, the main part of it is because of my background itself, I'm not able to work out here. So there
Okay.
was no excuse on my part. I mean, yes, I could work at McDonald's, but
Yeah.
I was overqualified because I used to be, a high manager up with the dealerships. I've done interest rates, I've
Mm.
written car deals up, everything else onto it. I mean, I could run a multi-million dollar car dealership. But when I came out to Vegas, they didn't care about that because of the stupidity that I have, which a lot of people probably have, just the stupid things in the past that we did. But it happened out here in Vegas, and
Right.
there was no way of just having my wife work 100% all the time while I'm just a bum at the house. And me, since I love to sell, I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what I can do. And what's crazy is that I started by flipping iPhones out here in
Okay.
Vegas. Yes, buying and selling iPhones, man.
Yeah, like
Yes,
were you buying them off of Craigslist?
yes, yep. Off of Craigslist, off of OfferUp, off of Marketplace. I was
Mm.
doing that, man. I was doing the hustle. I was going out there in some shady neighborhoods, meeting with
Yeah.
people, just doing that part. And finally, that's when I started to hear about FBA, the
Hmm.
Amazon FBA, and I actually heard that from Reezy, and I was like, man,
Hmm.
who is this cat, man? And then
Yeah.
I grabbed onto it. I learned about it, and I mean, after that, man, I let loose, man. I opened the gates and just went all, 100% all in. I mean, I had
Yeah.
no
So
excuse.
right, right, because you're. I mean, at that point, you're overqualified. You know, wifey. We're not gonna. You know, you don't want her to do it all on her own. And I'm married,
Exactly.
so I know what that. I know what that exactly feels. You guys got kids, and so you went from the flipping the phones, doing that, and then you jumped into the FBA. What did you start selling? I mean, just because you're so new in the Amazon game.
Books, man. I just did
Okay.
what Reezy said, man. I did exactly, man. If anybody that's watching this series could,
Yeah.
if you just follow Reezy's YouTube stuff, it's
Yeah.
like a university, and he teaches you from his early videos all the way
Yeah.
through, and that's just how I learned it. And then I started to learn more about other people through
Mm.
through Instagram because I was never on Instagram. I didn't care for it. I mean, I'm the
Right.
old guy, so it's I'm the old guy. I didn't care for that stuff, man. So
Yeah.
I started to learn about the new stuff, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get more into it. I mean, I was doing books, I mean, almost every day. Also, I loved it. I loved the thrill of it. I loved the hunt.
Yeah.
And then the competition got thicker out here
Really?
because everybody wants to be a reseller now. That's like the
Yeah.
thing. You know, it's not just to have the Jordans on your shoes, but you have to also be labeled as a reseller.
Yeah.
Everybody's a reseller. And so now that's when I started going into the RA and started to OA and things like that. But I started off with books, and if I ever need to go back with books, I will. It's not a problem, man.
Yeah. So are you saying, like, I know because you said it's been 3 years, but do you feel like it's saturated now, the reseller market with books?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
so. It's just that in my market,
Yeah.
it's the whole Las Vegas area is just a hustle area. So I
Yeah.
mean, no matter what is out there, nobody wants to work. They just want to hustle and be their own boss. So when
Yeah.
everyone looks online and like, how can I make extra money? It's books. So
Right.
everyone hits the books first, and then of course the thrift stores get involved. They raise up the prices. Your
Yeah.
profit margins started going off, and then of course you got price tanking. You know,
Hmm.
everybody wants to be the hero. So it's
Right.
you know,
Yeah, why is price tanking? I interviewed a gentleman before you, and same thing. It was just the price tanking. It's like why these people even get in the game. But what do you think is going through their mind, Anthony? And it seems like it's only new resellers. It doesn't sound like someone that's established and they got that
exactly.
that nest egg. But why do you think like people are tanking the markets? Not only with books, it's like I heard people want to be the next sale, and sometimes they don't care how much they're gonna make. They just want to be the next sale.
Exactly. Well, I mean, a lot of people have that
Yeah,
scarcity thought, so they're scared that their books or their item itself, though, is just going to hang out there and then no one's
yeah,
going to buy. But they don't understand when it comes to something like Amazon, it's just
yeah,
not a flipping your stuff. It's not a resale. It's a market. So it's just like the stock market in a way. You have to
mm,
find out what item is going to have its value. You have to study the market. There's a
mhm,
lot more stuff to it. It's just not like on eBay where you throw up your item and that's it. But the
mhm.
ones that do start to tank the price, it's just either one that they're scared, or they just want to get that bling bling out there, and they do a snapshot on their phone and look
Yeah,
Instagram. I just hit $3,000 on this, whatever it
yeah,
may be. It's just all for the likes, man. That's all. That's all it is.
yeah. I think a lot of people that are on Instagram are reselling. They do lack the business side of it because there is so much to do in the reselling game, and I think shopping or sourcing, that's the best part for me personally, just because
Exactly.
you're out there, you know that at some point this is going to turn into some money, some revenue.
Hmm.
But it's just like they just I don't know, it's just like the times have just changed so much that social media has influenced them and how they make decisions, and like,
Yeah.
oh, I made it now.
Exactly. Yes, and then of course once everyone starts seeing the veterans share their numbers,
Yeah,
if it's fluffed or not. But once they
yeah,
see those numbers, they're like, "Oh, I want to be up there." And that's
right,
all everyone sees is just how much they sold in product sales.
right,
I don't care how much you sold in that. How much was your profit?
right, right,
Because
right.
there's a lot of people that I've looked at when I buy stuff either at the thrift store or even at Walmart. They're
Yeah,
not making any money. I know the cost that you bought it at, even if you're tax
yeah,
exempt. You're not even making a dollar, my friend. You still got the
right.
boxes, the tape, the gas, all of the
Yeah.
other little stuff. You ain't making nothing. I don't know what you're happy about, you know?
But you know what? I think they're happy because they don't know their numbers. And I was talking to my
Yes.
wife right before we were doing this interview, and I was telling her, I was like, hey, like this is how much I've sold in my 90 days. And I gave her the number. She's like, well, that's not profit. And I go, I get it, baby. It's not profit. It's just the 90 days. I'm just trying to show you what I've sold in 90 days, how much. And she was just saying, so we started talking about like, you know, you don't even know, like when people post it on Instagram, you don't even know how much is profit. She's like, you could sell $90,000 worth of stuff and break
Hmm.
even at the end of the day, or you could
Exactly.
lose money. And we have no
Yes.
idea. And I feel that, you and I, we've talked about it, when there was a moment on Instagram where everybody was posting their 90 days or 60 days. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And it's
Yep.
like, okay, well, what does your 90 days look like now? Or what's the profit margin? And nobody knows, dude.
That's true. That is so true, man. And that talk there was pre-pandemic, and it's still, I mean, those
Yeah.
people are gone. You know, the the gurus, I don't know where they went.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the whole.
Right.
And me, man, I've always talked about that on IG. I'll call out
Yeah.
anybody on that part.
Right.
I'm not afraid of it. It's just if you're gonna show your numbers, just be honest about it. Say, man, that's my
Right.
product sales.
Right.
Because and just like your wife, man, she told me, was it my wife also said it to me. It's like, babe, that's not profit. She goes, because your
Right.
bank account don't look that big right now. You
it's
said
so
we
it's
couldn't
so
go to
it's
dinner.
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really so true, Anthony, where it's like, there's like lately people have been posting, oh, I sold this amount of products this weekend. And I'm like, cool. Well, what's the profit? Because even if you have 1,000, 2,000, $3,000 sales for the weekend, how much did it cost, right? And I think if we can focus more on the business aspect of
Mhm.
reselling, I think the community will be better in a whole, rather
Oh,
than,
exactly.
oh, let me just show you I sold these shoes, because you can buy a shoe for 220 easy, these hype
Yeah,
shit. And then at the same time, if you sell it for 300, I mean, and fees and all that stuff, like, what are you really making, right?
exactly. That's true. And I mean, it just this all starts off as in, do you know how to run a business?
Right.
Because even if you're out in the streets and the guy who sells you weed, he
Yeah.
knows how to run a business. He knows his profit margin. He knows his buy
Yeah.
cost. If he's got a team, he knows how to take care of people. You know, it's the same thing with reselling. You have to know your buy costs with taxes. You have
Mhm.
to know how much boxes that you're, if you are buying them, the tape and things like that. I
Yeah.
mean, that all goes into your cost. You know, it says yes, it could be possibly, a tax reduction or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's just the whole thing. You have to know your numbers. I mean, that's the way it was in the car business too with me. I don't care how many vehicles you sold. How much money
Yeah.
did you make?
Right. And in the car business, I just bought a new car myself, and there's people that will sell a lot of cars, and they can sell 2, 3 a week, or 4 or 5, but then they sold it for less than the next guy, or
Yes,
the other guy sells it, like, you could sell less but for a higher dollar amount, Anthony, and still make
exactly.
more money than the guy. So it's like resellers are working harder these days, just by
Yes,
trying to just, I'm selling, but it's like, if the profit is low, you're just like, you're spinning your wheels in a sense.
exact. Well, I mean, it just depends though on the
Yeah.
actual business model.
Okay.
So if the individual itself though is just doing a little hustle, they
Yeah.
already have their own job, their 9 to 5 or what,
Yeah.
um, they can still make, whatever amount that they want to make. I mean, if they want to make, the $100 on those sneakers or whatever the
Yeah.
item may be, cool, man, go for it because they have that 9 to 5. But the
Right.
ones that are, I'll say like Amazon that have wholesale businesses, those
Mm,
folks itself though, it's volume. So they're okay making that $3,
mm,
profit on there, but they sell 100 of those items. So that's three
right.
hundred bucks on that one day, let's say possibly, or even more than that. So I mean, it just depends. So each business model is different, but the ones that we see on IG, we already know
Yeah.
their business model. Yes, we already
Yeah.
know them. Yes.
Yeah. What do you feel like? What do you feel that is appropriate? Like, let's say someone is new, they're listening, they've been in the game for a little bit.
Hmm.
What do you think, like, starting off, you should kind of focus on percentage wise, ROI, as they call it? How much do you want to make, per sale? So if you spend $100, how much should you try to make on that 100?
Well, it depends. Is it
Yeah.
is it on one item or is it multiple items? If
No,
it's
just
on one,
yeah, when I let's just say you're spending $100
okay,
on,
cool. Okay,
yeah,
so then if you're going to buy multiple items, I would say the best thing to try to look for is if
yeah,
you can double your money.
okay,
So let's say that you buy a little toy, over at Walmart or Target. Try to double that money if you can, because
mm,
let's say for Amazon, whatever the item costs at that store, that is 1/3. So then your pricing at the Amazon sale point is that you
yeah,
want to be 3 times higher than what that item cost,
right,
so that you can at least hopefully, just double your money on there. So I mean, it just depends. I mean, that's the best thing to do is hopefully
yeah,
double your money. But if you're starting to get into bigger wise, then you can look into maybe a smaller percentage. But that's if you have the capital. But if you're starting with $100, hit the thrift stores, you'll definitely double your money big time.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's well said. And let's say someone that's established, right? They've been doing this for several years. What do you think the focus should be of the business at that point? Now so now you're spending 100, or you're spending, let's say you're spending 1,000. What should you make on that return for 1,000 once you're several years in the game?
I'll say on that one itself, though, a minimum of 30% minimum
Okay.
at 30%. That's because
Okay.
if you're spending that amount of money, um, I don't know much about eBay because I don't do a whole lot on there,
Yeah.
but with Amazon, it's volume. So if you can make that amount on there and just wash and repeat, I mean, you're
Yeah.
going to grow. And that's the whole point if you're going to do Amazon is that you want to grow. I mean, it's still like that with eBay, but of course, eBay, it's a little bit easier because you have your own items there at your home
Hmm.
versus if it's Amazon, a lot of folks and they'll have it at the warehouses with FBA and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. So since we're talking about platforms, Amazon and eBay, what are you mainly selling on? Like, what's the split look like with all the
Me,
different
I'm
platforms that are out there?
me, I'm very hard with Amazon. I'm
Okay.
like hard on that one itself, though. I do a little bit of Poshmark. I used to be heavy on Poshmark. I used to be heavy on
Uh,
Macari. With eBay, I'm here and there. That's only for baseball cards or basketball cards. That's just
okay.
eBay only on that part. So I mean, if I do get a good find out there with some
Yeah.
cards, then I'll flip
Yeah.
them on eBay. But
So,
other than that,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. What made you so, people are probably asking themselves like, man, what is this guy, selling on Amazon? Like, what are you mainly trying to sell on Amazon?
Everything and anything that Amazon lets me that makes a profit. I
Hey,
am I
yeah.
am not prejudiced on whatever item is out
Right.
there. I'm gonna sell it. If I
Yeah.
scan that code, that barcode, or I search it up, and I find out that I can make double my money,
Yeah.
and then Amazon says yes, you're able to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it.
Yeah.
As long
And
as it's within the right volume of everything for it.
right. Are you using like a Bluetooth device to scan, or are you just using the Amazon Seller app?
Just the app itself, though. That's it. Nothing
Okay.
special. I don't go
Okay.
anything crazy onto it. I mean, I've been happy with it. I mean, I do have Inventory Lab, which then
Yeah.
has also the Scatify too. My
Yeah.
wife uses that app instead, though, so she's also at the store too as well. But me, I mean, I just stay basic.
Okay. Now, do you have like, I know for people that sell on Amazon, this makes sense, but like anything, I know for me, like anything under 100,000, I like to entertain. Anything over that, I use my heart, or like my gut. Do you do the same where for an item
I
that you're
do,
just like, okay. And how's that
I
worked
do.
out for you?
It's worked out good, but is throughout the years, I used to be 100% where if it's under 100,000, I'm gonna buy it.
Okay.
I used to be that way, and then I've lost money. But then I've
Okay.
made some money, but I've lost more money than made money doing it that route. Now, learning with the other veterans out there, I've actually learned to look at Keepa, and it's just
Okay.
like a
Yeah. Yeah.
stock market graph, and that
Yeah.
one has helped me wonders. I've helped my wife understand it too as
Yeah.
well, and she reads it also. We can sit on the computer and just analyze it because I mean we've done the stock market too, so it's one of those that it looks like it, it's a graph.
Yeah.
So I mean
Right.
it's great, man. I'll go ahead and use that every time.
Now with Keepa, I mean, I think for people that don't know, it's mainly analytics, right? Where it's a lot of data where it'll tell you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like it'll tell you, what it's selling at, if it drops, if Amazon's on the listing, right?
Correct.
If they come on. So is this a free software or do you have to pay for it?
It is free in the beginning part of, or actually, it is for free for everyone, but you
Right.
can't get all the information. You're not able to get the rank,
Okay.
and then some other stuff. And I think it's like $20 a month where you get everything on there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do that for $20 a month. I get every access onto it. I get to see the ranks and everything else on that part. So I mean, it helps out though a lot.
Yeah. And the rank changes, right? I mean, it could
Yes,
be
it fluctuates
season.
every day. Fluctuates
Okay.
every day. Yes, the
Yeah.
moment that a lot of the buyers stop buying, and then the rent goes up, and
Oh,
then
okay.
it usually does that during, I'd say about I'd say about 11, 12 at night. It starts to go up,
Yeah.
and then the early morning when people wake up,
Mhm.
naturally when you wake up, you pick up your phone You're gonna go use the restroom. They're sitting
Right.
on the pot there, and they're
Yeah.
buying on Amazon. The ring starts to drop every time.
uh
Yeah,
so
always
it's
happens.
a it's a daily thing as well.
Yes, it's a daily thing.
Wow.
And there's some times where it'll stay consistent all the way through.
Yeah.
Like, during this time frame now though with toys, it stays that way. It'll go up a little bit here and there though, but let's say for books, there's times
Yeah.
where you scan that book, you're like, dude, this is a hot book. But
Right.
then it doesn't sell for months. And you're like, why? What's going on? Because if you look at the Keepa graph, or if you look at, there's some other apps out there too, though, with the scanning apps that it tells you what
Mm.
the demand is and how many times a month it sells. So
Right.
there's a bunch of apps out there that teaches you, that helps you, and it just guides you. And that's just the thing. It's just a tool. Without your tool, you can't do nothing.
Yeah, how long would you say that it took you to finally grasp, and understand the app itself?
For any of the apps, I'm still learning on a lot of the
Yeah.
apps, so it's an everyday thing though. But just to understand more, I'll say about a year.
Okay, okay.
I'll say
Yeah,
about a
and
year.
I think, earlier we were talking about just how resellers they get all hyped up and then they fizzle out. But, to be successful in this game, you really got to stay consistent. Even for me, like I'll take a break from podcasting, but it's like you still got to remain consistent because you want to stay relevant, and then you still want to stay refreshed, right? And I think as a reseller,
Yes.
if you take time off, Anthony, I mean, you can just lose it, man.
Oh yeah, of course. There was times, I think every year I've always gone out to Texas to go be with my
Yeah,
family, and for 2 weeks I don't do anything.
right.
But then when I get back into it, it's like, man, do I really want to do this again? Do I want to keep
Yeah,
hustling? My numbers dropped off, and
yeah,
it's always the last 2 week of the years. They say it's the worst time, but I love it though.
right.
That's the best time on my part. I enjoy everything out there. So, but just like what you're stating, it's hard to get back into it.
It is. It is.
Hmm.
Earlier, you talked about the card game, and that's what mainly, like, I'm so new. I mean, I'm 30, 37. I've been collecting cards, when I was younger. That's just something that you did. But then this explosion came out, and you were one of the people that were really, with a lot of knowledge and information, where it's like, I had so many questions, man, but, you helped me through the process. Where do you feel like the card game stands like right now? Is there money to be made, or do you feel like it kind of the ship has sailed for a lot of people?
It's still there. It's still there.
Okay.
It's not gone.
Uh,
It's gonna be a while till it's gone though. It's just starting. I'll probably say if it was like in a baseball term, we're probably about the third inning right now.
okay.
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 Yeah, because yes, the basketball stuff was hyped up there, just because of the whole pandemic, just because of Gary V stuff. And then of course now you got all these groups and then break groups and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just starting on that part. So just wait until the next season of basketball that's coming out though. With LeBron still going to be there, it's still going to be hot though. You still have Panini out there that's throwing a lot of good products out there. It's
Mhm.
just what it is now is that it's the younger generation that is only out there to make that dollar.
Okay.
This is a hobby. I see it as, and it's just a hobby first. If I can make money on a card, hey man, awesome, and I'll do that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be an investor, a lot of people have to understand is when you buy these blaster boxes or hobby boxes, they may
Mm.
not sell for a lot of money at that moment. It's investing, so you hold it off to the side and you wait. And
Yeah. So
that's the
what?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that's the thing though, is that a lot of people just don't understand that. And it's all knowledge because they're seeing the hype out there.
Yeah, there's been a high multiple too on, like, I'm part of a Discord. I know you're part of a Discord, but a lot of these Discords, they now have like card advisors, right? Where it's like, or even
Yes.
stock advisors, where it's like, hey, the playoffs are coming, especially for basketball. I remember, I'm a Clipper fan. They were talking about the Kawhi Leonard's undervalue. There's a potential he might be
Yeah.
going to the finals. You know, and due to multiple, but talking $100 for one. I mean, that's like, do you feel like that's like hyperinflation if we compare it to the housing market, or that's sometimes where the market is driving the price?
Well, with the Discord groups itself, though, just like
Yeah.
what you're saying on there, that's a little bit different though, because they stated on that part, as in you still have to do your research. It's
Okay.
just there's a possibility. It's just like everyone with these new courses with wholesaling homes and things like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to do it. That's not the big thing out there. But
Hmm.
go in there and look into it. Maybe buy one card or maybe buy two cards. But you don't have to buy 100 of them just because this one individual states it. But they're just giving you an idea that you would have never thought of ever. And you never know during the time that you research, there may be another card in there that is worth more than that. Which I didn't jump on the Kawhi Leonard one at all. I
Yeah.
know what you're talking
So
about.
yeah, yeah, I think it was his rookie card, but like
Yeah.
also, for you've been doing the card thing for a while now. Do you feel that at some point it's okay to buy multiples of the same card? And I'm talking like rookie cards especially, but like if there's a young player, do you feel like it's good just to kind of not go all in, but like buy six, or do you feel like you should just buy one or two?
If it's someone that's good, that has a very noticeable name, let's say like John Morant, let's say for
Yeah,
instance, if he didn't win the Rookie of the Year, or
yeah.
anything like that, something like that, he's got the hype, he has a name. Yes, I would buy multiples of them.
Okay.
But if it's somebody that I see where they probably played years ago, they're a rookie, they're in the eighth year now, and they're like, "Oh yeah, buy it now." I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the guy will break his ankle. I mean, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but
Right.
I mean, he could, and then that's it. I mean, you're out of, let's say the eight cards that you bought or so. It's okay to buy one or two, but look at it. Look at it if it's graded. If it's a PSA card and it's a 10, then yeah, go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
it might be worth it. But if it's a younger rookie, then yeah, then I'll go in a little bit heavy.
Yeah, and then also you have to worry about like off the court issues as well,
Yes,
because
yes,
I mean,
exactly.
it hasn't happened with like this draft class, but it does happen with certain players. Like I remember like Ray Rice, man, he was an awesome running
Hmm.
back, and then had all this talent, and then once the off the court type of stuff happened, like that was it. He was done. And some guys
Exactly.
get a second chance and sometimes don't. But you're also talking about the PSA, people that might not know, that's getting the card graded, because you can get the card by itself, right? And then
Correct.
once you get it graded, it takes it to another level. So is there like a term for like non-graded versus graded, or is that the term?
I mean, that's just a term there. There's nothing else
Okay.
special. It's just black and white right there. Non-graded, I mean, graded. You have PSA, you have Beckett. Then of course there's some other ones out there that they're okay to have if you just want it for your own personal collection. But if you're doing it like investments, then of course it's PSA and then BGS, which is Beckett.
Okay, so those are the main two, and PSA
Yes,
being the top dog. Okay, so it's like
that's
kind of
correct. Yeah.
Coke and Pepsi. Okay, so my next question is, so PSA would be value if they're both Beckett's a 10, PSA's a 10. Does the PSA hold more value because of its the brand?
Yes and no. But if it's a
Okay,
Beckett 10, if it's a pristine 10, I believe, and
yeah.
everyone else will probably say that I'm wrong, but I believe that the Beckett 10 pristine, because
Yeah.
there's even a black label one.
Okay,
Those ones hold more value than the PSA just because of the way that Beckett grades. Now, if it's a Beckett, let's say 9.5, and all of the other subgrades underneath it, which is the surface, the edges, the corners, and there's another thing on it there too. If it's a 9.5, that one is, I would say, is very comparable to a PSA 10.
okay. Yeah, and I think I read somewhere, I follow the guys that break and all that, but I think I heard that the PSA prices were going up for the to.
Yes, yes,
And
it
I
is.
I don't I
They
don't
will.
blame them on a business standpoint. This is the perfect time to do a
Oh yeah,
price
I mean that's the
increase.
best time to do it. I mean, of course, everyone's going to complain about it and everything
Uh,
else, but they're still going to get used to it. I mean,
yeah.
they're making money either way. So I mean, hey, but it's usually the younger guys, the ones that just got started. Those are
Yeah.
the ones that are having the issues with it, which I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them. And then also there's a big Pokemon craze going on too with the cards, man.
Yes, yes,
I'm just
yes.
like, whoa, even the Pokemon's been around for a while, man.
For a
I mean,
while, yes.
they're
I was never into Pokemon. I thought everyone who played Pokemon was a nerd. Man, right now, I wish I was that nerd during that time frame, man.
Yeah, shout out to one of my buddies. He's a reseller in Arizona, man. He was telling me that there was one that recently sold for like I want to say 100,000 or 80,000, something like that. It was like this one rare
Wow.
card, and I was just
Oh
like,
my
"You got to be
goodness.
kidding me!" But I don't know if it was Charizard. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I'm not a Pokemon guy.
I think it was that Charizard
Yeah,
one. I think it was that edition of one Charizard Hollow or something like that. I don't know much about it, man. You know, it's a cool little card. If they say to buy it because there's some hype into it, I mean, I may buy a few because I
right.
mean, when they're ungraded, they're cheap. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it.
Yeah. So
And
my next question for you, Anthony, is like, we're in Q4, right? What advice would you give someone that this is their first time experiencing the Q4, and then maybe
correct.
just give some advice to like a veteran, not to like, like a little gym.
If it's a new person that just got
Yeah.
into it, make sure you have money.
Hmm.
That's the biggest part onto it because there's going to be a lot of items out there that you're going to hear that are bolos that you're going to go after them. You want to
Yeah.
be the one out there to buy it. But you may sell a bunch, you're going to make a lot of money during Q4. You may not even get enough sleep. You're going to have to package your own stuff if you're on Amazon because a lot of that stuff will sell before it even gets to the warehouse. Or even when it gets to the warehouse, the price tankers get there. So you sell it first.
Hmm.
But once Q4 is over, you're going to see the real side of the reselling. You're not going to get the inflated numbers. You're not going to make as much money unless you hustle harder. Now, as in for the veterans itself, there's really not much to let them know. They already know what to do.
Yeah.
They already know to hustle it. But the biggest thing though is that I don't like with the veterans, and I still do it though, is complain about everyone that price drops. It
Yeah.
happens, but we just got to learn how to bite our tongue, and f this, f that, f this,
Yeah.
about everything about price droppings. But it just happens. So us veterans just have to stay back, maybe educate these individuals.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we need to do. But either way, though, if it's a new individual, you're going to make a lot of money in 3 months.
Yeah.
But in January, just get ready. It's going to be a whole different income change because it drops. It's a big drop, and then of course that's when all the returns come in too, especially with
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah. I got that email where it was just like, I think they can return up until like end of January. I think January 22nd.
Yes,
I was
yes,
like, come
yes.
on, man.
From
But you know
October
what?
1st to, yep.
What I was gonna say? I went to Lowe's and I was reading the sign because my wife used to work for Lowe's. I used to work for Lowe's, and so people would always buy Christmas stuff, use it and then return it because that was within 30 days, right? So
Okay.
now they changed their policy, which I like, and it says you can't return anything after the December 24th, right? So it's like you almost have to experience the holidays, and then
Exactly. You have to, yeah.
you have to, because even with like plants, right? Like people have a big party or a wedding, buy all these plants, save your receipt, 1 year warranty, and then take it back on the weekend, and then now the retail is stuck with it, right? The business.
Yep.
And so for resellers, I feel like Amazon, they're not on the hook. I think we're on the hook because we're the third
Or
party.
yes. But it all do I mean, it actually deals with
Yeah,
ethics. The buyer itself, though, is the one that he's done it before. He's done the past. He's not going to change. He's done
right.
it to retailers. He's done it to online side. Us as sellers, we have to just email the person and says, "Yo, man, this is used. I'll give
Yeah,
you half back, and that's about it. I'm not going to give you everything back." And I don't care what Amazon says. That's just me. I'm
yeah,
gonna go ahead and return half. If they want to battle me, I have every evidence that I mailed them out new. It was still in working condition. They tore
yeah.
it up. Little Johnny messed it up. Little Sally ate it or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's one of those things. I'm gonna challenge every single thing onto that point because it's my business, it's my money. I helped you get your product. So why do you gotta slap me back? That's the biggest part. But that's where we have to help out that way instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, sure, that's part of doing business."
yeah.
That's BS because you don't see that in the other stores. Maybe Walmart or Target, but in a mom and pop store, you don't see stuff like that.
Not at all. I think that's one thing that we talked about off air, and I was like, man, like, aren't you worried about these seasonal items that you're selling, Anthony? Like, because I know you're hitting it hard out there,
Yep.
and you're like, no, man, like I'm doing this. Like you had steps in your business to really limit the return, because like, and technically a business should, I think you want to allocate like 3 to 4% of what you're selling in returns.
Exactly.
And so by you doing what you did, and I was just like, I was really impressed by it. I was like, you're taking that number to like 3 to 4 to like maybe half a point less, or a full point, you know. But
Correct.
just because someone wants to return something, why should we just grant them that request?
Exactly. And it's weird though, because about, I'll say, when I started with everything with
Yeah.
Amazon, it's, I mean, I was okay with it. I mean, I was hurt that there was a return, but I was okay with it because I thought that was just doing business. But once I started getting involved with the veterans on
Right.
IG, with the Amazon Slayers, which is a huge group of veterans in there,
Yeah.
they taught me that stuff. They taught me, this is your business. You want to make money, this is what you have to do. And it's what I used to do in a car business, as in there's a lot of people that want to return cars. It's,
Yeah.
you put your foot down. This is my business. You came to
Right.
me. And then that's what I do. Now, if it's something where little Johnny's outfit was too small, or
Yeah.
because there was one that I had where the pants, the pants that they bought off of Amazon was 6 inches too short.
Oh,
So I
that's
was
a
like, man,
lot.
that's, yeah. So I'm like, that's not your fault. It's not my fault. Don't worry. Just go ahead and return it, and then I'll get you a new item back. That's cool, you know. But you got these ones who, let's say, like the swimming pools, like we did a few months
Yeah.
back. They use them. They had a good old time. They peed all over them. They did whatever they want, and then they return them. And says, "Oh, it was damaged."
Right.
I said, "Come on, Sally." I said, "Really?
Yeah.
There's no need for that. That thing's still wet. The box is wet." And
Yeah.
of course, I will argue every point on there, but it happens. It happens a lot with Amazon because they let them return everything.
Yeah, and I think that's why they've become, I mean, obviously they've done a great job, on the
Oh yeah,
business
yeah,
standpoint,
yeah.
but I
They
think that's one thing that separates them from every other, like, you already know you can return it. When I go to the UPS store, Anthony, and I'm dropping off my packages and I'm like, "Yo, Sally behind the desk, are those returns?" And they said nonstop. And I'm like, "Man," like, and I
yep.
look at the people too and I'm just like, Ho I mean, don't get me wrong, my wife does it. She'll buy 2 items and one of them's going back, because it's online, and
Yeah,
I get it, but it's just like some people, man, I just don't like the line. Like, I've paid for postage to send it back because,
yeah. I
it
have.
was just like yeah, it's just like, "Yo, this is like, I'm not gonna throw it on the seller. I'm gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna say, some faulty excuse." But yeah, man, it's unfortunate with, the
Exactly.
return game.
Yeah, true. No, I know it, but I mean it happens, and it's just wild because you don't see that many people at, like, at Walmart or Target doing that. They don't
Yeah.
do that often, but it's only with Amazon, and it's, and the ones that do lie, they always state like, "Oh, it was broken. It was the wrong item. You sent me an empty box." I mean, just like what they do on eBay. It's like, really?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I get scared every time I get an alert. I do a lot of business on eBay. It's like mainly like 40 to 50% of my,
mhm.
gross profit. But I get scared, man, when you get that message and it's just like, I want to open a return. Okay. And sometimes I try to like record it, but I've been pretty fortunate where everybody's been legit. So
Exactly, yeah. I mean, eBay one itself, though, I mean, that scares me more than the Amazon one. I don't
yeah.
know what it is about the eBay email that I get in that says it's a return.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, wait a minute, you know.
Yeah.
But then if it's the Amazon one, it's like, hold on, this guy's trying to get me, and let me see what's going on. Then I'll
Yeah.
email back and forth. I'll talk with them and see what's going on.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with the Amazon returns, they take their time, man. I mean, they'll. It seems like the Amazon consumer is a little bit more internet savvy or app savvy compared to the
Yeah,
the eBay. I mean, they're two different like two different consumers, really. It's like, I mean, you're all eBay or you're all Amazon. And for my wife and I, before we started reselling, I mean, we bought everything on Amazon. We didn't
oh,
like eBay
exactly.
was just like, yeah, eBay was just like, what? Like, you could buy
Yeah,
something else on there. So yeah, man. For the community that I'm a part of, and I know you're a part of as well, because you do sell sneakers, man. And I see some sneakers back there. So if you're watching on the YouTube, he has a rack. I see some New Balances, some Nikes. Where
man,
do you?
those suckers have been there
Yeah,
for a while, man. I haven't even touched them. I mean, they're listed. I just haven't
yeah.
really, done anything. Just because I've been so hard on Amazon.
Yeah. So how much shoes do you resell? Like what's the are all of those just eBay only?
No, this is just Poshmark only here.
Yeah.
I've a few months back though, during the pandemic and everything else, I was doing heavy sneakers also as well.
Yeah.
I was buying them off of OfferUp and things like that,
Yeah.
and then flipping them because I've learned that stuff through Rizni. Was it
Yeah.
Rinzi? I always mess
Yeah.
up their name. Rinzi. Um,
Yeah.
I used to learn that stuff through them, so I was doing a lot. I was selling probably on an average about 3,000 a month in product sales. So just on
Wow.
sneakers alone, and then the
Wow.
rest of it, then I was doing just Amazon. So I was trying to. I use my sneaker money itself though just for child support money.
Okay.
So that's what I focus everything on. That's just my child support. I don't want to be late on that one. So I
Yeah.
make sure of that part and everything else.
Yeah.
And then the Amazon is for all the other bills.
Yeah, man. I remember one day I called you and I was just like, we were just talking because I was like, yo, like, because the last guy I interviewed, Drome the Hustler, I just Instagram video him. I was like, I don't know who he is, but I want to talk to him. Same thing with you. And I was like, yo, man, is it cool if I call you, Anthony? I have some
Oh
questions.
yeah.
But and you're like, yeah, man, call me, man. And you're like, and so I remember you driving and all that. But I was like, man, like, because I would text you through the app and I'm like, yo, dude, I love your videos, man. Like you keep it so real. And I think one of them you said like, I just went to the child support office and I smiled at all these ladies and I said I'm
Bro,
here to pay my bill. I'm here to pay my bill. It's all sneaker money. Yeah, that was hilarious, man.
but you know what? It's awesome though, man. Because I mean, I went to the court stuff. I was in a whole suit. You see everyone in there who's not in a suit, who looks like bums in there. You're a father. You represent your kids. So once they learn that I reselled, and I went in there every month, I didn't pay over the phone or online. I wanted them to see me,
Yeah,
see who I am, see the
yeah,
father that I am, pay them in cash. And after a while, they all ask, "What do you do for a living?" And I
yeah,
resell. I said,
yeah.
just sneakers. And a few of them actually bought some shoes through me. So
Okay.
every time, they see me, oh, hey, Mr. Anthony, I wave at
Yeah.
them too. It was great. I love it. But now with the whole, COVID stuff, it's just a little bit harder. So now, I mean, I can't talk to them.
So so you're still doing the hustle. Will that stop once you finish the child support, like the flipping the shoes, or
I
you
don't
feel
think
like
so.
okay,
I don't think so because I mean, it's extra money then. That's
yeah,
extra money. And I mean, every mom or dad, if they have to pay the child support, that's extra money in their pocket.
yeah,
So I can still use that money for my daughter when she goes to college, and my little one also
yeah,
to my son. I mean for
yeah.
him, for whatever it may be. So I mean that's extra money onto that. So if not, I just throw in the bank each time.
Yeah. What do you like to wear when you're sourcing? Is there a particular shoe you like?
Slides. That's all I wear is slides.
Really?
White. Yep. I love that stuff, man. Slides, man.
The
That's
Nike
it.
ones or the Puma?
Um, right now it's mainly the Adidas ones, just a 3-7.
Oh,
The
okay.
black. Yeah, that's it. I don't go too crazy. I
Yeah.
don't wear Jordans. I've never owned a pair of Jordans ever.
You just sell
I
them.
think yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I was I've always wanted to get Jordans, but
Yeah.
at the time my dad was like, "No, that's not worth it." And
Right.
so, I mean, it wasn't anything hyped up on there. I mean, I wear some Nikes here and there though, but it's just all running shoes.
Okay.
But now since I've been thrifting, or I started with thrifting, I mean, I don't buy you and I'm new shoes anymore. It's just used.
Okay. Yeah. So you're talking about those? Are those the old school Adidas with like the rubber sticking up? Like it's like massaging your feet as you're walking, or is
No,
it?
not those ones. Those ones I didn't like,
Oh,
man. I tried
okay.
those. I didn't like those. But
Yeah.
I probably have my slides now for maybe about a year. So, I mean, it was a
Okay.
Ross deal. So, and I picked them up at
Hey.
Ross. Always, man.
Hey. That's what's up, man.
That's my
Is there?
supplier. Yep.
Yeah. Is there any like last words that you might have, or you feel that you want to let the just resellers know in general, man? Anything that I know you shoot from the hip, man, which I appreciate 100.
One thing I want to let the resellers know out there, every single one of you, you can
Yeah.
do what you want to do. Okay. You can make your own money. No one's going to tell you anything. No one's going to say you can't do nothing. Always remember those 4-letter words is not
Yeah.
in your vocabulary. You can make your money. You can hustle. And of course, God is with you at all times. Just ask for
Right.
help. He'll be there. And if he doesn't help you, man, just call me. I got you.
Where can people find you on social media, man, these days?
Mainly on Instagram. Mainly on Instagram
Yeah.
at Ariso_ant. I just did TikTok. I've
Oh,
had it,
cool,
but
man.
I'm just starting to get into it. So it's that one is at Ariso_ant with the number one.
Okay, for the TikTok, I'll put that in the link, man. I think
Yeah.
I do enjoy. I don't have a TikTok personally, but I do enjoy watching some stuff with my wife. There's some
Oh, it's
hilarious things.
funny stuff. Oh my
It's pretty
goodness, man.
addicting though too. I was like,
Yes,
I gotta go to sleep.
exactly.
I gotta go to sleep. No, man, but I appreciate you coming on the show and giving some time. And I think we talked off air. You're also a veteran as well, right?
Yes, sir. Correct. Yep. Air
Yeah,
Force.
what brand? There it is, Air Force,
Air
man.
Force.
I think
Yes.
you're the first veteran reseller I think I'm interviewing, man.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. I feel
Yeah.
honored on that one now. Sweet.
Yeah, shout out to all the veterans out there, man. I know there's
Yes,
some
sir.
out there that they get to use their military. Do you get to use your military
I do. Oh, yes. I take
okay.
advantage of everything on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll make sure I get every discount possible.
That's why you get a double up every time when you sell something, man.
Yep.
No, man, but I appreciate Anthony for coming on the show today, man, and taking some time. If you're not following him, give him a follow. It's resell_and I'll put a link, and then we'll also put the TikTok for the people that have the TikToks. But he will answer your questions, and it might not be right away, but I mean, he keeps it real. Like he's like, "Yo, Joey, I love to talk to you, man, but I'm grinding right now," and he'll get back to you though. I mean, he's in Las Vegas, so if you're in the Las Vegas area, definitely want to follow him. You can follow the show's website at aresellersjourney.com. That's where we're gonna have the link to everything. And then also, if you want to follow me at ebayjoey, remember, never forget why you started. Peace.